During the filming of the movie One Tough Cop, two actors became close friends, Chris Penn and Stephen Baldwin. Stephen was asked, in a football game between the Penns and the Baldwins, who would win? He replied unequivocally, the Baldwins would easily win. Word of that got back to Chris Penn, who said, that may well be true, but the Penns would win the fight at the end of the game. We are all proud of our families. As kids on the playground, it was often heard in an argument, my daddy can lick your daddy any day. We like to think our family is the best, the strongest, the most beautiful. Some people can become rather elitist and conceited about such things. Will Rogers, the great prophet of the 20th century, couldn't stand people who were always bragging about what their ancestors did when they didn't do anything themselves. One day, someone said to Will Rogers, my ancestors came over on the Mayflower. Will Rogers replied, and mine were waiting there on the beach. Mark Twain also hated when people bragged too much about what their ancestors had done. When confronted with someone bragging about his family, Mark Twain cut him off and said, my grandfather was cut down in the prime of his life, and Grandma always said that had he been cut down 15 minutes earlier, he could have been resuscitated. Whether our ancestors were born into noble families or hanged as horse thieves, we have their genes inside us. There is an organization in this country called the Daughters of the American Revolution, a group of ladies who trace their ancestry back to people who participated in the American Revolution. They are a very proud bunch of women indeed. At times during their history, they have been seen as separatist and even racist. In 1939, one of the greatest singers in the world was an African American by the name of Marian Anderson. She had a crystal clear voice, of which the great conductor Arturo Toscanini once said, such a voice one hears only once every 100 years. As she was an American, we should have been proud of her. After dazzling Europe with her voice in the 30s, she returned to the United States and was to give a concert in Washington, D.C. The venue was to be the great Constitution Hall. That hall happened to be owned by the Daughters of the American Revolution. When they discovered that she was to sing there, they decided not to allow it, since according to their rules, their property could not be used by anyone who was black. So the great singer was denied access. To their credit, thousands of the Daughters of the American Revolution, beginning with the First Lady, Eleanor Roosevelt, were so incensed that they immediately offered their resignation and never went back to that group. The Secretary of the Interior invited Marian Anderson to perform instead on Easter Sunday of 1939 on the steps of the Lincoln Memorial to a vast crowd of over 75,000 people, and many millions more on the radio heard her that day. Every feast we celebrate liturgically tells us a larger story. Christmas is not just for celebrating the birth of one child 2,000 years ago. Christmas is also celebrating the birth, the rebirth of each one of us through that child. Epiphany is not just the feast of those three kings coming from faraway places. It is a celebration of all nations coming to God. Easter is not merely the celebration of the resurrection of one man 2,000 years ago. It is the celebration of the resurrection of us all through that one man. So it is with the Feast of the Holy Family. We are not just celebrating these three figures in the stable at Bethlehem or at the home in Nazareth. We are celebrating a much larger family. nor are we celebrating that institution that has quite recently become known as the traditional family. One man, one woman, 1.5 children, a picket fence, and a dog. Very few of us come from a family that was completely traditional in every way. We are celebrating the family of God, and that is a vast tent indeed. There are many types of families on this earth. Each reflects the great family of God in a special and unique way. One of those is the family we have right here at our church. Most of us are related neither by blood nor by marriage, yet we are a family. The good sisters, too, make up a very special family of their own and reflect in a magnificent way the love that is God's family. Nowadays we hear a lot about family values. The Christ gave us by word and by supreme example one family value, no matter the shape or hue of the family we are blessed with. Selfless, boundless, unconditional, unapologetic love. All lovers of literature will remember Shakespeare's beautiful love story called Romeo and Juliet. Two feuding families, the Montagues and the Capulets, each with very strong family pride and so-called family values, fiercely defended and revenged each of their members and just as fiercely hated all outsiders. Perhaps we know the 20th century incarnation of the same story, the musical called West Side Story. Here we have not Montagues and Capulets, but Sharks and Jets, two rival gangs on the streets of New York. The stage of life, the stage of history, is littered with countless bodies of Romeos and Juliets, corpses of so many Jets and Sharks, so many people massacred in the name of family loyalty and pride, victims of sorely misguided family values. God is so much bigger than all of that. What we are celebrating today is the vast and wonderful family of God, at whose table each of us has a place. Separatism, exclusion, has nothing to do with the family of God. So long as it is a matter of us versus them, we cannot truthfully celebrate the feast of the Holy Family of God. So long as we can say to any person or any group of persons that there is no room for you at the table in the family of God, we cannot celebrate that Holy Family. So long as one people, one nation, one family cannot live in harmony with another nation, another people, another family, but rather insist on dropping bombs on their villages, or firing missiles into their cities, or wiping out whole peoples, we cannot celebrate the family of God. So long as it is a matter of us versus them, we have no family of God to celebrate. For in the family of God, there are no Palestinians and Jews. In the family of God, there are no Northern Irish and Southern Irish, no blacks and whites, no haves and have-nots. In the family of God, there are only children of God. In the family of God, there are only sisters and brothers. So let us together go to that manger in Bethlehem, bow down before the Holy Family there, and beg for the grace of being able truly to celebrate and truly to be proud to be a member of the loving, living, all-embracing, Holy Family of God.